Hey guys, it's Shannon the Garden Girl from Georgina Garden Center. I haven't given you a garden tour in a long time, so I thought I would do one this morning because I came out to the nicest little surprise, my first fig. So let me flip the camera around here and I'll show you the plant. So this here, I got last fall. A customer asked me, they didn't want it / have space for it anymore, so they wanted to know if I wanted it. I'm like, yes. So look at him, he's gorgeous. So I came out, he was right in there. Look at all the other figs I have. I'm so excited. Look at them all. So that's my fig. Woke up to this morning, which is great. So I'll give you the tour of everything else. Some things are doing well, some things just really need to be cleaned up. So starting with my little planter area here. My glads started blooming this week and they all fell over. So I have to work on staking them today, but they're so pretty. So I have a vase here. I'm going to cut some. So this one here, like a stunning color. Look at that. So pretty. This one here, lemony one. I think it's like limoncello or something. Limoncillo or something. And then we have this one. It's so pretty. So we're going to cut these, and because I'm doing it one hand, let me switch the camera here to my other hand. We are going to try to cut these, and I'm going to put them in a vase. I have a vase of water, but I will rearrange them afterwards. Look at that. Who doesn't want to come out to their garden first thing in the morning and cut? I'll use my elbow here, sorry guys, the angle. Who doesn't want to come out in their garden first thing and cut flowers? What a way to start a day. Look at that. You find a fig and you get to cut flowers. Nothing better than that. So, cutting some yellows here. I'll trim off all the leaves so they're not going in the water afterwards, but and I had some over here too. Look at them, they're so pretty. Look at them. Look at that. And look at Jimmy. There's Jimmy. Always nearby. Isn't that so pretty? I wonder if they... No, they don't smell. I think a rule of a flower should be, it should smell. I think all flowers should smell. But, I guess someone... Okay, so... I'll keep cutting these after, but... Isn't that so pretty? Maybe you cut some hosta leaves or something to go with it too, just to add some. But anyways, there is my glads, I have zinnias in here. I have to deadhead some zinnias, and I have lantana. I have, which is the pink and yellow ones there. I have heliotrope, the purples. I have to go through and deadhead. This is my enormous lantana. I can't even get back far enough. There's my lantana standard. It's probably 3-ish years old. I overwintered every year. And the funny thing is the ivy actually lasts that long too. So anyone who's grown ivy knows usually doesn't live that long. I don't know how it works, but it does. So I'll prune him up to shape him up a little bit more because you can't even really tell he's a standard. But he's huge. He's a little bit taller than me. So I guess he's not really that huge. He's just over 5 feet. But that's my big lantana. And he has the orange and reddish blooms. I also have in here too some pentas, butterflies, bees, love them as well. Everything I picked this year, butterflies, bees, all the pollinators love them. Marigolds, I have some trailing coleus down there. And over here, a little bit of a mess here. Oh, here's another odd thing. So this one's my begonia. They're probably 4 years old, and I overwinter them. There's a bulb, so you can overwinter begonias, but I overwinter them in the pot. I just bring it into the house. A lot of people empty the soil, they brush the bulb off and dry it. I just stop watering it. It was more of an experiment and it worked. I just stopped watering it a few weeks before I wanted to bring it in, so it really dried out, and I let the plant dry up, take the top off when it's done, and then I just keep it in a cool spot all winter long. And I probably start watering again probably in February, March, and it takes a little bit, but it does come on. I just make sure the soil stays really dry because I don't want the bulb to rot over the winter. but look, it's huge. That's in a 10-inch pot. It's really big. So that's my experiment with begonias. So we'll start over here for my veggies. I think that's a chili pepper. I have 4 of them in there. That's, I believe, a habanero, and I have one going on. They're starting, and there's lots of flowers in there. So, and I planted these really late. I planted those probably in end of June. So they're doing quite well for only planting them like 6 weeks ago. These are my San Lorenzo, and I came up this morning too, and one's ripening, and these are loaded. I'm excited. I have 4 plants of San Lorenzo. So there, and over there. And I like to can my tomatoes. I either just can them for sauce. Sometimes I make sauce and then freeze it or can it. And then I also like to make salsa. So I do what I can with these, and then I'll supplement with buying more if I need to. I have marigolds and alyssum and nasturtium planted this year in my pots, and they are all kind of sacrificial plants, if you will. They do attract pollinators, which is good for the veggies, but they also kind of sacrifice themselves if there's any bad insect around. So if you get aphids, thrips, the nasturtium will attract, or the leaf miner goes to the nasturtium, which I'll show you here. That's leaf miner. See, it makes little trails inside the leaf. But what it does, it usually keeps it off your vegetables or wherever you're planting it. So they get the brunt of it. They'll attract, like I said, aphids, thrips, leaf miner, anything else that your plants could get. This one here, I have to take out my peas. I don't know if they were sugar peas or like snap peas type thing, but they're done. I'm surprised they lasted this long in the heat that we've had, because they're a cool weather plant, but this week they kind of really bit the dust. So I will take them all out, and I will plant either more or plant something different that grows quickly, maybe even a lettuce or something like that in there. Here I have a few mixed things. I'm not sure. I threw a whole bunch of random seeds in here, like flower seeds. So I don't know if this is actually a flower. I have to look at what I planted, or if it's a weed. So I have to figure out what that one is. These 2 in the back are snapdragons from seed. First time I've ever done it. They don't look the hottest. I probably won't do them again, but I wanted to see what happened. But I do have some pepper plants in here. I have 4 pepper plants, and I believe they're a chili of some sort. I have purple beans, and I love these. My aunt did purple beans last year in her garden, and they taste exactly like a green bean. You can see them there. But when you cook them, they turn green, and they taste like a green bean, nice and sweet. They're really good. So I thought, let's try them, and they didn't disappoint. I have missed picking some. Some are too big, but I do have a few extra there. They've almost seen their day here too. So I'll probably at some point take them out and put something else in there too. But it's it's good. It's neat for kids, but also I guess good for adults. But having something fun like that grows one color and cooks a different color. So it's my purple beans. And I do have some cosmos in there. This year I incorporated more flowers in my vegetable garden, which I normally don't. I normally just do marigolds and then nasturtium. But this year I did cosmos and some other stuff, and then all those other flowers I did just to add some extra color. So this one's my baby squash, and I normally don't do squash or zucchini, only because I don't have a lot of space, so I don't yield as much from these. I know some people say they have so many zucchini. I just don't have luck. So this year I only have 2 so far. I don't know if I'll get, it looks like I have a little baby one here starting, so I might get more, but most of the flowers have all been male flowers, as you can see here. So I might not probably won't do squash again next year. I'll pick something different that I can get a higher yield on for my space. And being so hot and humid this year, it's inevitable that your squashes will get mold mildew on there. And I'm not going to put anything on. I don't really like to spray anything on my plants, and I'm not really overly concerned. So I'll just take off. I did start taking off some leaves before that were affected, but today I'll clean up more of them. I'll leave some leaves, but you don't need them all, so I'll take a lot of them off. Then we have more peppers in there with the cosmos. We have nasturtium, marigolds. So these, my dill, massive dill, they're ready. They're in seed. I had already used all the leaves off of them earlier, but the seeds are ready to harvest. So these ones, I keep some for cooking, and then I will keep some to reseed again. And these ones, so there's 3 here and 1 here, they are volunteer dill. They came up from last year. I did not plant them. This one's really unruly. So I just left them. I didn't try to transplant them somewhere else. So they're there. That's why my garden looks a little hodgepodge, but that's okay. Gardening sometimes is. And my poor little tiny nasturtium. Normally my nasturtium gets really, really big like that all the way across. But this year, I planted it, and every day it was dug up, and I'd have to put the seeds back in. So they just had a really bad start. The critters kept digging them up. And those 2 just never really took. So next year I might even just plant more seeds, and I'll probably have to figure out a way to cover them. Normally I cover them, but I had the tomatoes planted, so I couldn't cover them. Long story. I know. No one asked. But there you go. Those ones aren't doing the greatest. These tomatoes are Juliet tomatoes. They are delicious. They're kind of, I guess, like a grape size or cherry size. And I grew these because a customer was in and he was looking for them, and he said he grew them before and had an abundance of them. They taste great, and they do. They're really good. They're kind of meaty, but yeah, they're really good. So and sweet. I will probably plant these again next year. And I've had quite a few off them, which is nice. These are my white tomatoes. So I've never grown them before. I'm excited to see what happens. This one's starting to turn, so I don't know. I have to look to see if when it starts to turn that color, if that's what I'm looking for, or if I have to leave it on longer. But you can see how tall it is. My next ones are black crim, which are my absolute favorite tomato. They are doing really well. I have quite a few. And as you can see on these tomatoes, I have pruned. Oh, and there's Jimmy again. He's waiting for tomatoes because I usually give him a tomato when I pick them. I have taken all the leaves off the bottoms of them all. I haven't done them fully for those ones. But what that does, if you take the leaves off the bottom of your tomatoes, it helps airflow, so less pest disease and everything like that. It helps the sun get into your tomatoes to help them ripen. It also then concentrates the energy into the fruit versus the plant, because when you have a lot of leaves, the energy for the plant is kind of going everywhere because it has to supply enough energy for everything. But if you decrease the leaves, the amount of leaves, then the energy can be gone elsewhere, hopefully towards more fruit or producing more blooms or whatever. So a few different reasons why you take more of the leaves off. And you don't have to have every leaf on there anyways. And then the next one I have is a tomatillo. It is really, really big. I'll probably have to get a ladder to end up picking the top ones up there when they're ready. And they always have bees. Always have bees on them. The guy there. So that's great. And what they do is, so you have your flower. The bees will pollinate it. Then the flower will drop off. Then what's left closes, and inside the fruit starts forming. Then as the fruit swells, that little casing, the husk over it, will open, kind of crack, and that's when you know when you can pick them. And you can use them almost all the same way as a tomato. Like make all your salsas, sauces, things like that. Haven't done one in years, so I thought why not try one again this year, and it's massive. This one here is, I can't remember that tomato. What's that one? Cherokee purple. And I have a lot of those as well. They're coming along nicely. Those ones I have to take a lot of the leaves off. This one is pineapple. Yes, that's my pineapple tomato. They're really big. Let me put this tomato in my pocket. He's like, that's a nice big tomato. I can't wait to try those. Those are a new one for me this year as well. I'm excited. This one is a Sicilian saucer. It's really big too. And these tomatoes are really, I like the shape. A little different. See, they're all lumpy and bumpy, which I like. I think that'll be nice. It'll add a little variety, right? And then all my tomatoes I picked this year are all heirloom tomatoes. And heirloom means it's like the OG of seeds, the original seeds. Heirlooms have to be, I believe, at least 50 years old. And if it's an heirloom, it's never been crossed with something else. So again, it's the OG of tomatoes. If you get newer varieties, a lot of the newer varieties use heirlooms that they take the best things out of each one and make a new variety. These guys are all your originals. So some could date back early 1900s, 1800s, depends on what ones you pick. But I also find heirlooms the most tastiest. You don't necessarily get maybe the same yield as you would on a newer type of tomato because, again, they've been bred to have high yields. However, you will not be disappointed growing an heirloom. They are fantastic, taste great. So all heirlooms this year. This one here is this one's sriracha. That one is shishito, I believe. Peppers. And they're coming along. They're little, but they're coming along. I'll pick the red ones off. And my sriracha, that one down there. The bottom is getting red. I can probably pick it. This one's just starting to turn red. So I can pick him soon. But he's doing well. Then you can see here too, I talked earlier on where did it just go? I lost it. I was going to show you another thing on the nasturtium leaf, if something, insect it caught. These two here are jalapenos, and I need to start picking them because some of them, there's one back there, it's going red, and one down there going red. So I have to pick them, and I have to water them, it looks like too. This corner one, I never really get anything growing well in it. It's just had a little bit more shade, so I put borage seeds in it this year. They seem to be doing well, so we'll see when they bloom. I have my horseradish I have to clean up. My blueberry, I have 2 or 3 different blueberries in that pot, and I had to put chicken wire up at the top and the bottom because I had dozens and dozens and dozens of blueberries this year, best yield ever, even though the rabbit ate most of it over the winter, and the critters just kept beating me to it, so I had to, even if I covered it, they still somehow got in it, so it doesn't look the greatest with my chicken wire on it, but I did get maybe just over a dozen blueberries off it, and they were delicious. I have a raspberry that I still have to plant. That rhubarb I got from a customer as well. They were getting rid of their pile of rhubarb, so I said I'll take a chunk, and then that's my giant haskap that I have to prune back again. And I'll take it over to where my herbs are. I did one of my last videos was with the herbs as well, and I had, again, chicken wire all over it because I have so many pests here, critters, which I shouldn't really complain. It's good when you have lots of different stuff, right? But when they eat my plants, I don't really like it. But I had chicken wire all over it, and because they kept digging it up. Every time I got home from work, they'd be dug up again, and the poor things, I just couldn't get them going nicely, right? So I covered it in chicken wire, which then I got busy at work, so they overgrew. So I took the chicken wire off. They're looking a lot better. This is what they're here. I had it covered in that big chicken wire. So I have lemon balm, I have parsley, basil, I think I have summer savory in there. I have tarragon up in there, parsley, more basil, rosemary, oregano. Did I say summer savory? I think that's summer savory. I have marjoram. I think that's marjoram there. Thyme's in there somewhere. So they're doing a lot better now that I took the chicken wire off. And I did really hard cut these back because that was like 2 spindly things. That one was 1. So you can see all the great new growth I have on there. So it's almost, I'll probably cut some more off. And I think last time when I did a big harvest, I dried them all in my dehydrator. Or you can do it in an oven if you don't have a dehydrator. But I think this time I'm going to make some herb salts. I haven't tried it before, but I've always wanted to. So I will do my parsley. I know one thing I'm missing in here, and I'm not disappointed at all, is cilantro. I grew cilantro because I'm like, I know I don't like it, but it's nice in some recipes. I grew it, and I could hardly manage harvesting it. I just can't stand the smell. So I'm not upset that it didn't come back. I'm good with that. But love my parsley. So I have a big bunch there and a big bunch there. I will harvest it up, make some parsley salt, probably same thing with my basil, and maybe my next round with basil I'll make some pesto or something with it. But so my herb garden's doing okay. Could be better, but it's doing pretty good. I also plant lemongrass, and the lemongrass I solely plant for the dogs because the dogs like to eat grass. So I thought, why not plant them some? So they get lemongrass and they love it. You can see they munch on it, and they know that's the only thing. They just know they don't really touch anything else. They know that's their plant. Here I have some dahlias That planter's not looking the hottest, but it is what it is. It's an experiment one. These are poppies, which I planted probably about 5 years ago, and they just randomly pop up anywhere. So this year, that's where they decided to pop up. They're really pretty purple ones. So I just leave them, let the seed head do that, let them reseed, and they see what they do. Kind of survival of the fittest in my garden. And then these are my dahlias, which again, I have to deadhead the one, but there's the other one. She's so pretty. And I have this dahlia. They're so pretty. I just have to deadhead the other ones. I was doing some pole pruning, so that's why that's there. But these are also dahlias. They just haven't bloomed yet, so I don't know if they'll have time this year to bloom, if they actually will. But again, and these are anemones, anemones, however you say them. I don't know if they'll bloom too. They were struggling this year too, so we'll see what happens. If they don't, they don't. Gardening sometimes an experiment. And then over here, I have, this is my citronella. It's absolutely massive. It's in a 15-inch pot, and it's huge. Then I have two of these. We had pollinator hanging baskets. I take them out of the hanging basket and plant them in a pot. It's a 15-inch pot. Maybe it's a 12-inch pot. And it's huge. It's so pretty. So it has cigar plant. They look like little tiny cigars. And then I always say scaviola, but apparently it's scaevola. So now I say scaviola scaevola. And it has angelonia in it. And it does have some lantana, one of my favorites. So pollinators love it. And it's super easy. I rarely deadhead the thing. And it's gorgeous. And there's my other fig. And then along here, I have my hanging basket, or my window box, which I do have to water. They struggled this week. So there is impatiens. I have trailing coleus. There are begonias, but because they're dry, you can't see them right now. They're limp. I have begonias back there. Oh, you can see that one there. And I have streptocarpella in there, and there's some trinia that really didn't take off this year, but I like them. And then I have that's my black-eyed Susan vine. So that in my garden. I hope you guys have had a good summer so far, and I hope you guys have tried to stay as cool as you can in this heat. And I hope that you guys don't give up in the heat. If your garden is struggling, just kind of keep at it. It is what it is. And we'll see you guys soon. See you guys.